The spirituality of the cat. Power animals and spirit beings? Animals and spirituality, one could certainly fill libraries with information. The connection with Mother Nature comes to the fore, the simple language of affection and love that is communicated here. Expanding a little further, we find the realm of dead animals, spirit beings, and power animals. The somewhat imperfect, deficient communication between pet and owner still leaves plenty of room for speculation and projection. We are one? That a strong energetic connection exists between humans and animals is beyond question. If we push the boundaries of human knowledge, for example, by invoking quantum entanglement, all things are possible, especially with regard to reincarnation, even if they still take place unnoticed on a level that is inaccessible to us, that we cannot see. Symbolism. Lions, eagles, certain dog breeds, jaguars, turtles, these are extraordinarily powerful symbols. Here, the animal characteristics are projected onto humanity. Past cultures evidently possessed a very different sense of the animal-human reality. But beyond this magical meaning, always somewhat surreal in our modern times, we find a completely viable spirituality in our European pets, especially cats. Blunt. Animals have no masks, their affection is non-judgmental. Their love is direct and open, in no way restricted by conformity and morality. We're not talking about the kind of affection that comes with a feeding bowl, but rather what's left over after subtracting the urge to eat and the cute exterior. This small residue far surpasses all our futile efforts to give true love. Purest affection. This is the seed of love that permeates everything and yet is so rarely seen by us humans. If we were to take a crumb of this pure, unlimited affection for ourselves, it would be enough to redeem us. But we can only observe and learn. Accept and try to reflect in our hearts, to preserve it. But first, to receive it, to feel it. Unaffected. Through their sovereignty, their relative fearlessness towards life, animals vibrate at a much calmer frequency, less burdened by disturbances. This also has a direct impact on our well-being as we live with them. If an animal is affectionate towards you, it triggers these calm vibrations in you, influencing them positively. The animal gives you a portion of its calm vibration, provided you allow it. Gift. If the Buddha within you, if unconditional love, you as a sleeping, dreaming God who only wants the best for his dream creatures, places an animal at your side in your life constellation, then you can be absolutely certain that there is a completely positive intention behind it. Namely, pure love. Namely, the desire to bring you back to this tenderness. To awaken you from your dream. Open mind. It is clear that in order to enter into spiritual communication with animals, it is necessary to have a certain inner willingness, a true openness of mind. It is important to recognize the animal, the consciousness of the animal, as equivalent to our own. This is a mental task that seems very fundamental and is fraught with enormous difficulties for various reasons. We are forced to step down from our high, intellectual horse. We hinder ourselves. Our human nature stands in our way. It is therefore important to accept the spirit of the animal as possibly vibrating at a much higher level than our own. To actually internalize this. But we have great difficulty with this, perhaps entirely subconsciously. Standing in our way is the infamous cognitive incomprehension. In a milder, transformed form, so to speak. From birth, we have been indoctrinated, preached to, and inoculated with the idea of hierarchy, which now separates us from animals. Ladder society. With good and evil as its foundation, the idea of hierarchy represents the backbone and the conclusive logic of our social system. The dynamic of our survival mentality arises from this. This is the separation from God, who, in his absoluteness, his wholeness, knows no good and evil, no gradations at all. This is also the deeper cause of the apparent distance between humans and animals, which, in this dualistic view, are clearly and unequivocally more than different. Much more than an alliance. So if we succeed in recognizing this gap, if we can truly internalize much more than an alliance between human and animal, we have opened the gates to nirvana. Thus, the communal experience with the animal, it is largely unaffected by our attachments, is an excellent, gigantic step toward the contemplation of interbeing. Of the oneness of creation. Of immortality. Of eternity. Completely abandoning judgments. So, before we are even able to truly learn from our animals, we must truly put aside all judgments, prejudices, assessments, our complete knowledge about the relationship between animals, humans, and nature, ideally, forget them completely. We should try to recognize the true, unaffected nature of our relationship. Our own, as well as the cat's, conditions are opposed to this, but the reality is quite tangible. Communication between humans and animals should be true meditation. We should realize an equal, perhaps, certainly even, higher vibrating spirit. Yes, one could say it is a certain humility of help. Building bridges. One bridge of ideas in a dialogue with your pet is certainly the idea that it can read all your thoughts and moods. Anything that places the animal on a higher level in our thinking, so to speak, is beneficial to our understanding. It is absolutely essential to escape the description that the social consensus has for animals, for pets. An openness entirely without judgment, classification, evaluation, assessment, or preposition. More of a thing? Our general attitude toward animals, in which they are more things than equal beings or spirits, prevents us from seeing the salvation that would lie in this realization. A pet, any animal, however, is creation's offer to do precisely this. It is not absolutely necessary to recognize the perfect oneness, which is ultimate reality. Approaching the spirit of the animal, as far as we can, is entirely sufficient to awaken the love of creation. Conclusion. Animals are vibrant, loving life. Cultures whose philosophy was based on power animals recognized this. Here, the idea of the unity of all beings on Earth was still alive. In the age of industry and consumerism, it merely seems absurd. Animals ground us. Contact with an animal can be the most relaxing form of meditation. With them, we have a piece of creation that responds to us. And by internalizing the recognition of animals as creatures completely equal to humans, we are taking a very valuable step.